Good morning again. LMI is the world's largest professional development company. We've been around for over 50 years in over 85 countries and in 26 languages. In India, we've grown and we are now in 16 cities and have about 40 people around the country who work with us as internal team members. And we've taken about 17,000 participants in India through the program and 4 million worldwide. Now, that we are not a typical seminar-based program where we give you a quick fix solution and you get some excitement and thoughts and you very seldom go and apply and retain these ideas. So the first thing about our programs is that they are based on a lot of research on how human beings learn and retain and apply ideas. And so our programs are what we call transformational as opposed to transactional.
What are some of the qualities you think is essential for a leader to have? If the leader doesn't have those skills, what would you advise? Do they go through a training course or do they hire people who have those skill sets then maybe?
Okay. The first thing, and I've been asked this question often, in the modern time, especially with the world that's rapidly changing and moving at a breakneck speed with regulations, circumstances, etc. The first thing is that leadership is both an art and a science, which means you have to use both sides of your brain, the creative side and the logical side. Traditionally, managers and leaders have used only the logical side and been drivers. Because the world is changing, because behavioral science research shows increasingly that people have to be dealt with differently. And that's why they quit organizations, because they leave, as you rightly said, managers and leaders. They do not lead companies. So managers have to understand that how they deal with their people has to be different from what it was, let's say, 50 years ago.
I want to start by talking to you about what really struck me as a participant in one of the LMI programs. And that is a quote, the affirmation that was coined by, your founder, Paul Meyer. And I'm going to read out that quote. It says, "Whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass." Are you saying here that desire is the ultimate quality of a successful person?
It's certainly one of the most important. But the quote is amazing because it's actually a sequence of steps. You first vividly imagine something. When you create that vivid imagination, that starts to build the desire. So then you sincerely desire something. As you desire, then you start to believe in what you can achieve. And when you believe, then that creates the action steps where you move on your goal, and that helps you attain the result that you want.
EPP is the best thing so far that could happen in my life, other than my wife. So it has given me, yes, a very new dimension towards goals, productivity, empowerment.
The LMI program teaches you about goal setting, time management, and all sorts of skill sets to improve your professional and personal life. My business has grown almost 50%. I have gone from covering Pan India to covering Pan Asia and the Middle East.
Well, thanks Madhuri and LMI for helping my colleagues for going through this entire process in order to complete the assignments that were given by managing life, the activities within the office as well as at back home. So they manage the time management pretty effectively, and that's something which is one of the great important things which LMI has inculcated in them.
We're now in 85 countries around the world. Our materials are in 26 languages. So we've had incredible growth over that time period.
What's leadership for you? If you were to describe leadership in 2 or 3 words for our viewers, what would it be?
Well, the best word I've heard for leadership is influence, because leadership is all about people. And so how you influence other people is the key factor in leadership.
One of the process of LMI. In fact, 6 of the top leaders of the company have gone through the process, and we have benefited in a very, very, very huge way. I'll tell you one thing, first of all. I was having several doubts of what is the right approach to manage, to increase the productivity or solving number of problems. When I went through this process, I got 100% clarity how to go about it. I got the conviction to move ahead, and because I was very sure that this is the right approach, I was able to produce a lot more results. In fact, that happened with few of my team members also.
Whenever I have some free time, I listen to the lessons. I have it on my mobile. Every time I listen, it inspires me and motivates me. And I get new ideas and perspectives every time I listen. If I have to list just one habit change that changed my entire leadership, I would say it's empathy. One has to really practice to understand the power of empathy. To practice, you have to be a good listener. If you listen, you will be less judgmental. If you're less judgmental, you can communicate better. Once you master communication, you become a tremendous leader. So by practicing empathy, our entire team were able to bulldoze the imaginary walls between them. A lot of egos were removed. I used to be someone who expect nothing less than perfection. But now I strive for results. With the help of goal planning system, my productivity has multiplied. Like many others, I didn't prioritize my important works. Once I realized my worth of time, I started prioritizing based on my high payoff, and I've become more time conscious. Having realized how I can make use of my time, I focus on empowering my subordinates, our teams, and delegating my LPOS. I think I've become better in my work-life experience. But it's still an ongoing process.
You can see there is a tangible benefit of more than $500,000 in minimum. That's what I can see based on the process improvements that we have been able to do. A lot of new ideas in optimization, and the biggest gain according to me that draws us back to LMI training every time is the ability to free up the time of our top management so that they can focus their activities and their thoughts on strategic initiatives, helping to grow the business or making us more efficient and thereby improving our bottom line and top line. So I think that's the biggest benefit that we derive out of the LMI.
Course moves from a point that right from your thoughts and creating your destiny is all possible under this course.
You cannot solve new age emerging issues with the old age mindsets. It is a question of mindsets that fail us rather than anything else. What do I mean by the last century mindset? 60% of a leader's time was spent in controlling, in managing stuff, in administrative work, in financial work, in budgeting, and in resource allocation. This has to change because that was management, not really leadership. McKinsey has done a lot of work and they have identified 3 prime areas where leadership aspects are very important. The first they have identified most important is developing leadership. The second area which they have identified is developing your people to be productive. The third thing is engagement, which I discussed, this position, power, and the purpose.